The Showhouse started as a way for people in Kansas City and the surrounding area to have an opportunity to see what's new, what's hot, what's trendy. Think about it, 44 years ago, without the internet, without the onset of Twitter and Facebook, it was a great way for the house to be broadcast, for people to see new ideas, as well as raise money for the Symphony organization, which is what the house is really all about.
The Symphony Showhouse is in its 44th year. It is comprised of designers from all over the Kansas City metro, each one having a vision of a particular room. JCCC has participated for 28 years, and it's a wonderful opportunity for the students that are involved with it to meet people in the industry, to meet people from showrooms, to develop connections with people. And it's also putting together in reality what you learn in the classroom.
Over the years, designers from all over Kansas City have participated. They may be designers that are working out of their houses. They may be designers who have studios, who are working with large firms. A variety of people have been involved in that manner. We've been fortunate to be a part of the event for 28 years, and it started out on oh my gosh, we need somebody else to do a third floor room. And that was pretty exciting for us. It was just really at the infancy of our program in 1986. Our program had only been around 5 years, and we were thrilled. We did a third floor room that was a bedroom. It was in what would have been the servants' quarters on the third floor. And our relationship has grown from there. Over the years, we have not only done bedrooms, but we have done bathrooms, hallways. We have had several opportunities to do CAD drawings for Kansas City Homes and Garden magazine, who sponsors the Showhouse by printing the publications.
It's a wonderful experience. We get to know not only designers to the trade businesses, we get loans from certain places. We get to really get connected with the interior design environment and learn from the real world experience that we get through, compromising as a team and having the bumps in the road that we had along the way and learning from those experiences.
We had I believe our first meeting was the 15th of December, and we have to have everything in place and ready to go by this coming Friday, the 19th of April.
Students are selected as members of the team by interest. Sometimes students will come and say, I'd really like to work on the Showhouse. Sometimes students are selected by their interest. Maybe they have an ask, but maybe an instructor feels like that they would be a good person to gain a lot of knowledge, take that extra step forward, and really blossom with some guidance on a practical project. Probably about the last 12 to 15 years, we've chosen 3. And the reason for that is it doesn't pit one person against another, my ideas, your ideas. We also have decided that having a lead designer makes a lot of sense, because that person then is the person that is the point. It's not that their design ideas are any better than the other 2 people, it's just a point person who can make the decision when it has to be made.
If somebody, and I kind of put on here, if somebody tells me it can't be done, my immediate reaction is, oh really? And then I just start going into solving. Although we're all 3 students, we didn't really know each other, and so I would say our first major event was just getting together and getting to know each other as a group and individually, working with our instructor, our faculty advisor, Jan Cummings.
Well, our first meeting was of the 2 other designers besides myself that were on the committee. We got to know each other. We all had different design concepts, but somehow we managed to get them all into one. And that probably was the most crucial element of the whole design process, because we had to know if we could work together.
The initial meetings that we did was really just to figure out where each designer was in their, in their mind, and coming together as a team, creating a concept, working from that concept, going from the concept and bringing it into a space, having the differences of opinions and the differences of ages that we have. We got to create an eclectic environment.
Transitional style, traditional furniture with just put some pop in there.
We had to submit a bid to the Symphony Showhouse committee to be evaluated to see if we would be allowed to do a room.
The bid process involves touring the home early. Back in December, actually, we toured the home and decided on a room that we wanted to bid on.
We came up with a concept as a team. We each threw out ideas when we were coming up with a concept, built on it from there, came up with a design statement, met very frequently throughout the month of December and January, and chose quality pieces that would go with our concept that we came up with, colors that would mesh well with the concept, but not pastels.
Not pastels.
I agree.
Like more neutrals with some emphasis, colors that we can emphasize.
Our concept that we came up with was an old world charm with a now factor. And so we tried to incorporate old items with newer items and create a transitional kind of eclectic decor.
We all got together one night, got everything put in place. We had fabric samples for our pieces, like this chase here. We had paint samples to match the thing. We put it all on a board and turned it in the next day, waited about 3 or 4 days.
There's a committee of the Kansas City Symphony Association Designers Showhouse group that takes a look at all the boards that are submitted. For instance, there may be one board for one room and you might get that, or there might be 7 or 8 boards for one room, and then they have to have a tough decision. They also have to decide how the flow of the house will move. How do the rooms relate to each other?
And that was very exciting when we learned, the day that we learned that we were going to have a space. This is not the original space that we actually prepared a bid for. However, this seemed to fit us better than the original space.
As soon as we knew that this was our room we started in on it immediately, getting our painters lined up and just putting together a schedule of events that had to take place in chronological order.
And then we have just worked, since then, we have had the most amazing participation. People have been so enthusiastic that are in the industry to loan us things.
We have a budget of $600 from the school, but this year we were very fortunate to have an anonymous donor that donated an additional 50% of that budget, and so we were up to $900, which sounds, I don't know, that doesn't sound like a lot when you look at what goes on in this room, and it really wasn't. So we really did rely on services provided. We had a painter that donated his services. Sherwin-Williams donates the paint for the entire house.
It was really important that we have someone in the painting industry to help us out, because this being a house built in 1831, there was lead paint on the walls, and we had to have someone who was certified for the lead abatement. That's federal statute.
Designing a quality room, we relied on people donating their services in time. Like our flooring was donated by Keith Lowe. Our walls, the painting of it was donated by Alleluia Construction. So we relied on loans. A lot of our furniture was donated, and accessories were donated from showrooms, design showrooms throughout the Kansas City area. But with such a small budget, we really had to find the contacts, and everyone has been gracious, and we're all looking forward to paying forward the services that were given to us.
Our hardwood floors were donated by Keith Lowe's hardwood floor for nothing. He came in and did all of it, and I think did a beautiful job. He spent an entire day just getting the floor in condition to the point where he could sand it even. So he put in many hours on these floors, and I think they just look beautiful.
The ladies that were on the committee with me, They're incredible women, and we all sometimes went together as a group, and then when we couldn't, sometimes we paired up to go, sometimes we went on our own with our trusty cell phones taking pictures, you know, and sending them to each other to say, do you think this will work? Do you think that would work? But somehow we managed to do it all.
That was kind of our time frame. We had to get everything in chronological order, start moving the furniture in, the accessories, and after that it's just been a matter of fine-tuning, and we're at the point now where we feel pretty comfortable with what we've got, but we all feel it just needs some finishing touches. So that's what we'll be working on this week as we wrap it up.
Slant that other one just a little bit, Karen, because
this one?
No,
This one over
the one over here. Yeah, there you go, so we can see
Yeah, get it close.
the symmetry of it.
I'm incredibly happy with the room. Like we have, you know, having three completely different personalities, we encountered an occasional bumps and bruises along the way, but it ended up exactly the way we pictured it would.
I think it's very warm. I think it's got a good design concept.
We have all agreed that we need a few more finishing touches, and we'll get that handled between now and Friday. But when you think about how diverse the three of us were, that we came together and created this space, I just think it's fabulous.
I'm very happy with the way the room has turned out. I think the ladies have done a great job. It's difficult to be three individuals and have to come together as a team. They were chosen for specific skills that they had, which means that personalities were considered, but the skill sets and what they brought to the team to make the team functional, sometimes that works really well and sometimes not so well. This year has been very well. They've worked together well. They've taken care of those moments of, really, are we going to do that? Very calmly, very rationally. They've been a great team.
I really like our chandelier that we chose. I think it's phenomenal. We've been getting a lot of good feedback from it, and I think it just works well with everything else that we've chosen for the room. And Wilson Lighting did the chandelier.
I like the chandelier, and that one was interesting because we all went together to Wilson Lighting that day, and we all saw that particular piece immediately, and it was a done deal. All three of us said, that's it, just like that.
We have this wonderful piece of artwork that was donated by Dalton Interiors and Ludwig Velassi, who is a wonderful designer. It is an antique carpet grid. The way they used to design carpets was hand done on an 1/8" grid, and they have a color key at the bottom, and they designed the rug by hand coloring those 1/8 grids, and just to look at it and study it is phenomenal.
My favorite part of the entire room would have to be the antique grid donated by Ludwig Velassi at Dalton Interiors. It is an incredible piece.
The photographs above the bed, those were actually taken by our girl Ali Campbell, and I think they're rather spectacular.
It's been a wonderful opportunity to be involved in this process. Our students have the opportunity to network, to meet designers, to meet tradespeople, to meet other industry professionals, as well as learn and develop skills that they have maybe not had so much confidence about. It's difficult to say no to someone. It's difficult to work in a team, in a community relationship. I like this, I don't like that. So what's the difference between objectivity and subjectivity? And it really helps to enhance the students as well as promote our program.
It has already benefited me in many ways. We create amazing contacts here. Meeting the people that we meet, learning the concepts and the designs that the design process as we have it is extremely beneficial. Being able to take what we've learned here and then move forward with it in our own abilities as a designer is incredibly crucial.
dealing with some of those real world issues and working with people in the design industry. I've gotten to know a lot of people in the industry, did before I started this program, but specifically working on it from a design standpoint has given me a lot of experience and working with people, meeting people, and just dealing with those situations.
Getting to know the people that I have gotten to know, these are people that once I'm in practicing my design, these are people that I will go back to, because people that are that generous and that encouraging of student designers, they deserve our patronage once we are out in the field working. And having those relationships is really beneficial because, you know, they see a lot of people that come in and out, but you know, if you develop a relationship with them and they know who you are, you know, sometimes it's to your benefit. And I can't express enough the generosity of these people. It's just been overwhelming. And you don't know how wonderful these people are in the design field until you actually get out and meet them.
This is one of my favorite classes to teach, and this is a class. Students do get credit for working on this space. We didn't used to do that, but the amount of hours that the students put into this project, I would guess that our students put in well over 300 hours on this project from beginning to end, and sometimes more. So it's a very big responsibility for them. And I like to think that really what I'm doing is facilitating. I generally don't say no, or you can't do this. I try and say, have you thought about, or what about? But there is the occasional moment that I say, no, we're not doing that. My job is really to make sure that they understand what they're doing and why they are doing it, that like is an objective like, that there's a reason, that it has principles and elements of design behind it.
I learned a lot about myself while doing this project. I loved getting to know the women that I've gotten to know, and they're all extraordinary people, and getting to know them. Learning the concepts, the design process, actually doing the, we learn about it in school, but actually applying the design process has been wonderful as well.
I've enjoyed getting to know two very special people who I haven't known, and to work with a very special woman, our faculty advisor, outside the classroom. So it's been very rewarding from that aspect.
My two new friends, I'm sorry. They are two of the most incredible women, and I'm sorry that it breaks me up to talk about them, but they are so fine, and these are relationships that will last.
I think that it's important to understand that this is a learning process. While we are creating a product that people will judge and evaluate, and whether they decide to like it or don't decide to like it, the skills that are learned in the process of putting the room together are what we're all about. It's great to hear those compliments of the room looks fabulous, love the color of the walls, the chandelier's wonderful, but it's also about the learning process and where it takes the student, and that's why we do it.